Well, hey everybody. Hey Shannon, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Uh, Doing well. Excited to hang out and talk a little bit today. So we're
Yeah, I've been good.
yeah. I've got a different background than normal, so we're on the road again, so to speak.
Shocker. So
So yeah, go figure.
surprising to hear from you, Anthony.
Go figure. So we're actually I was telling Joel, over the holidays, a little bit of downtime, less to do. We've got a little bit of vacation time, but we don't usually travel over the holidays. We like to stay home for the holidays specifically. And so with all of that downtime, I'm practicing rule number one. I'm checking every day and kept finding deal after deal. And next thing you know, our calendar was kind of stacked up. So
Next thing you
now we got
know,
to live out on
yeah,
this
you're,
Friday.
oh, I don't think you're going to get too much sympathy in this group.
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of this group, we'll say hello to a few folks. Thank y'all for joining us and hanging out today. So y'all are spread out all over the country. I love it. I
Uh,
didn't say this, but we're actually up in Boston. So yeah. Hey, West Palm Beach,
oh, you're
Florida.
someone
That's
from
where
West
I
Palm
am.
Beach.
Yeah. It's my hometown. That's where I live. So that's where we left to come and visit the frigid tundra of Boston at the moment. So
And I'm over here complaining about, let me look at my local weather, but we all know that I have an allergy to the cold. It is 59 degrees and I do not want to leave my house.
that's awesome. It has warmed up to 40 degrees here. When we got here about, I don't know, 8 o'clock, 8:30 this morning, something like that. It was in the mid 30s, and my Florida raised kids were very excited to see snow on the ground. So we had a little snowball fight right outside the Boston airport. So it was a lot of
80
fun.
degrees in Phoenix. All right. Bragging.
There you go. I love it. We're getting the weather report from
I'm
around the
jealous.
country now. So, oh, and
Yeah.
Kip's in Boston. So that's where we're visiting right now. So, well, awesome. Well, we should dive in. We're really excited to get to dive into our topic for today. So we'll kind of reset and get this party started here. So thanks for joining us. So welcome everybody to the JGOOT Village, a free community where we teach anyone, and we mean anyone, the basics of how to travel anywhere in the world completely free. And so, as we were kind of talking about already, we are those who practice what we preach around here, and we're excited to get to hang out with you. Shannon, tell us, maybe introduce yourself. I know you've been on before, but I think it's been a minute, so you can tell us a
Yeah.
little about you and your role here at JGOOT.
Yeah. So I started as a lounger in 2021, but I followed Joel in the village since 2017. Obviously, a big fan. Came on staff in 2022. I'm now the director of sales, and I am one of the coaches on the Earning Multipliers mini course. So I enjoy everything I do. My grandma always said, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I have truer words have never been spoken. Absolutely love it.
Very cool. Well, we're excited to get to dive into if you've seen the emails, these local meetups that we're going to be talking about. These have previously been kind of a lounge exclusive event. Sometimes we'll post pictures in the village and that kind of thing about some of these meetups where some of our lounge members, our coaching clients are hanging out together. But we've always had this desire, and we've heard from many of you that there's always been this desire to be able to experience a little bit of that and get together with other JGooters, with other people learning and studying and practicing the JGoot way of travel, just in order to connect and share tips and have a community where we can kind of explore this together. Because if you've been following for any length of time, you know we talk about the fact that this is a skill that is practiced and learned and studied. It's not a magic bullet or a switch that you flip and suddenly you're a well-versed JGoot traveler. there's a lot of power and a lot of value in being able to get together with other folks, with other JGOOTers. And so that's what we're excited to get to talk a little bit about today. And I know I'm kind of jumping the gun because I'm so excited about this, talking about why these meetups matter so much, but that's really a big part of it. Getting to get together with other travelers to share some of these experiences. And, oh, you did that? I've been looking to do that. So walk me through what you did. I'd love to learn a little bit more about that. It's a whole different animal than reading about it in a post or a blog or whatever the case is. Am I right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then having this community, we hear all the time, and I've experienced it many times myself. The community at JGOOT is like no other. There are a lot of, and Joel's very open about this, there are a lot of different travel groups and strategies and everything like that. But this community, this JGOOT community that Joel has worked so hard to put together, is really unlike any other. We really look out for each other here. We really work together and collaborate here versus, the more cutthroat, the more, I don't know, what's a polite way to say that a lot of other groups are less polite. Maybe I'll put
rude,
it that way.
I think is the word we're searching for.
Maybe that's the word.
No, and exactly. Like I hear that all the time in the village, on the calls that I'm on. People are very, very impressed with the fact that it's a kind community. And if we do see anything that we feel is even on the cusp, it's removed and it's explained that we are just not that community. So.
Yep. That's not what we do here. So, and being able to take that and move it into an in-person environment is not only a lot of fun, but very, very valuable as well. And then just having that, again, fun, interactive space where we can learn from each other, connect, again, not just with other travelers, but with other people who are learning the JGOOT way of travel, because it's different. Our approach around here is different than a lot of other groups. And a lot of the way that everybody else in the world travels, which I think is part of what makes it work, is the fact that it's so unique. But getting to be around other people who are studying and practicing that same exact way, to be able to share some of those tips and exchange notes as we go, is super, super valuable. And so getting to walk through a little bit of what these are. This is a picture from, again, one of our lounge meetups, because that's what we've done so far. This concept of local meetups that are open to the village and the community at large is brand new. We're going to tell you a little bit more about where and when and how to join them and that kind of thing. But as you can see, we go off on a lot of adventures. I think this was in New Orleans, right? This picture.
Yes,
here.
And it's too bad everybody here is so shy, including our fearless leader, Joel.
Exactly. Yep. So this was one of those lounge meetups where just a whole bunch of people who like each other went out exploring and explored a community together. And so getting kind of an idea of what these are going to look like on the local level. These are going to happen roughly quarterly. And these are in-person gatherings where we'll be able to get together and talk and interact and that kind of thing with one another. And they're going to happen in what we call currently key cities. We've targeted a few specific markets to kind of roll these out as a beta test. This is something brand new that we've never done before. So we're starting a little smaller, getting our legs under us with some key areas and some key folks who are going to help us run these as we go here. And speaking of that, these are led by local ambassadors. So the idea is in each one of these areas that we're going to be rolling out these local meetups, there's someone local to the area who's going to help run these, who can speak to all the things that we talk about. Your home airport in that particular area, who's going to know it better and what's available and key positioning routes and different things like that. Who's going to know that better than someone local in that area? Who's going to know the places to hang out
Yeah.
where you can get together and connect with other JGOOTers in that particular area than a local ambassador? And so that's honestly one of the parts that I'm most excited about, Shannon, is that there are local folks, boots on the ground, who are actually helping us to run these.
Yeah, now these are all lounge members, right? That's the first thing. Local ambassadors are all lounge members. I will say this is also a picture from Friday night dinner in New Orleans. Front and center is Anna Yeager. She will be the local ambassador in Washington. Anthony will go over the pilot cities. Mary Haynes is also in the picture. She's one of our local ambassadors in Seattle. And okay, Ron's not a local ambassador, but he's in Boston. I just had to make all the ties I could possibly do.
He is in Boston. Speaking of, I got to connect with him since we're up this way. We talked about it, but now that I'm here, we need to connect. So again, as you can see, we kind of get to know each other around here. And so these meetups are going to be focused on travel tips and discussion. You're going to have the chance to talk with other travelers, including lounge members who are invited to and are going to be participating in these as well, about what kind of tips they implement, what strategies they use. Networking, just being able, again, to connect with other JGOOTers and exchange ideas. And frankly, just it's a lot of fun to get together with other lounge members. We have a really good time. So you getting to do that with lounge members and with village members and people in the community is a blast. And I know some of these local ambassadors are even planning, icebreakers and games and different things like that to help you connect. And so just to give you a little bit of encouragement, if you're a more introverted type person, I dare you take the risk to try one of these out, because these are designed and built with that in mind. We're going to help you connect. We're going to help you meet other folks and be able to do that as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we do have, as things roll out, I see all of these comments here about, different areas that you guys are in. Hang tight, because we are going to be expanding. We're going to do it strategically, and we're going to do it in areas, of course, that we have somebody who's kind of within our ranks here who can help roll this out and help run this well, because we don't want these to be just thrown together. These are going to be quality events that you get something out of. So definitely, if you're not in an area that we have one for this initial rollout, that's okay. Stay tuned, because we're going to be rolling out more. And frankly, maybe I'm a little biased, but I think some of these are worth either a little road trip or maybe a cheap flight to go and visit some other folks. I was looking on the meetup.com website, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And the farthest I know of so far is somebody driving 3.5 hours to get to one of these local meetups to join and be part of it and connect with some other JGOOTers.
That's amazing. I mean, honestly, and it's not even on that side, like, we're very, very excited about this. So I'm actually flying up to Seattle from Sacramento for the Seattle meetup, and really looking forward to helping it get launched and meeting all these like-minded travelers. Telling you, my own family looks at me like I am crazy for as intent as I am on the JGOOT way of travel. So I feel y'all.
I love it. So we'll talk through kind of some of the key benefits, why we're doing this, and what, frankly, we expect you to get out of it when you choose to attend these. Obviously, kind of like we've been talking about, learning travel hacks from your peers, from other people, again, in your area who are actually doing this, who are putting this into practice, and getting to exchange those notes. That's always going to be key. And it's dramatically different from, because we see all the time, people posting, oh, I fly out of this area or that area. I don't know your home airport. Now we could study it. I study a lot of different airports for positioning and that kind of thing. All of our coaches do around here, but getting to talk with a local lounger who's in your area and knows the ins and outs of your specific area is super, super valuable. Getting to meet like-minded travelers. I mentioned this before, but getting to talk with people who are, not only travelers, but who are studying and practicing the JGOOT way of travel is a different animal. as you know, if you've been following us, if you've read our book and that kind of thing, we don't do card churning. We don't do the hacking side of things. We bend the rules sometimes, but we don't break a lot of the rules because we want this to be sustainable and repeatable. And so again, the same kind of thing, not running into some of the hangups. We've talked with people around here who've gotten banned by credit cards because they're breaking the rules, they're churning, they're doing all of this kind of thing. We work to avoid that. So getting into a group of like-minded travelers who are practicing and studying the same strategies the same way can be super valuable in that regard. And then obviously keeping up with what's going on. The travel world is changing constantly. Every time you turn around, there's a new partnership or a devaluation of points or any one of 100 different things that can be happening. And so this isn't a static process. You don't learn one thing and then you're done, but rather we stay on top of all of the latest trends, both globally as well as in your area, getting to stay connected with folks in your area who are studying what's happening in your specific area.
Anthony, I just want to acknowledge all these people in the comments that are making votes on where they would love to see a local meetup. We hear you. We hear you, y'all. But this is, we like to try and do a good job, be good at what you do. So we're starting with a manageable number, and trying to sparse them out into different areas. We will fill in the blanks eventually. I'm not going to tell you that we're coming to Myrtle Beach specifically or Huntington Beach, but it would be more of a slightly larger metropolis area, which Daniel, Sacramento is, because I'm only 30 minutes from there. So these are all, most of what I can see is on the roadmap, but thank you. Thank you so much for all this interest I'm seeing here.
No, it's really good because this is good information for us to have, because we are going to continue to expand this program as it grows. And like Shannon said, starting in some key markets, this allows us to focus on a few areas and put on quality events rather than just shotgunning and doing everything at once where each area gets a little bit less attention. So this is really good feedback. It's good to get to see a lot of these areas. And I don't want to spoil anything because, again, we want to do this well. But a lot of the areas that I'm seeing here are areas that are on the map, that are on the radar as we continue to grow this out. So this is really good. So y'all stay tuned for that. So let's talk a little bit about how they actually work. When you come to a meetup, what are these going to look like? So our ambassadors are going to be organizing these meetups quarterly. Now, it's going to vary a little bit by the area. If you've looked at any of these yet, because we've sent out emails already, some of them are weeknights, some of them are weekends. Some of them are in more of like a restaurant bar type area where it's casual. You can pop in and kind of hang out. I think we've got one at a local Hyatt, which I thought was a really cool idea. Since we do so much with Hyatts, since their point values are so much better than everybody else's when it comes to hotel stays. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of thing happen. Our ambassadors are going to find what they believe to be the best possible places that they can host these meetups. And this is kind of going to be flexible as we grow. Because as the meetups get bigger, we may outgrow a particular location and shift. Or if it's in kind of a larger metro area where we've got one group, we might move it around. It's on the north side of town this quarter. It's on the south side of town next quarter, so on and so forth. And so each quarter, you'll get notified about the particular meetup in that area and the specifics of it. And the idea of it, again, is it's meant to be a relaxed kind of social gathering. This isn't a conference. You don't need to come with like a notepad and all that kind of thing. Although who knows, you might, because you're going to be around some other JGOOT travelers with some great ideas. But the idea is this is about connecting with the community. You will benefit from it travel-wise as well, but getting to connect with other folks who are studying and practicing the JGOOT way of travel, that's really where the magic is. I'm convinced it's one of the most underrated and hardest to communicate benefits of JGOOT, is getting to connect with other folks around here. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like energy, right? Energy feeds energy. Looking someone in the eyeballs, getting to know them, like, oh, I see your name in the village. Hey, you know what? I really appreciated you. I mean, well, maybe I'm the only one, but I do remember people's names and things like here. And the comments are continuing to blow up, asking for new and more locations. I'm watching, y'all. I'm always watching. Now, might we come to someplace smaller like Memphis or Tulsa? I don't know, but certainly Nashville, right? So there's going to be, we can't be everywhere all at one time. I would love to do that, but keep them coming. Oh, and there's actually one in Houston, so we will answer that soon.
Bring on. So it's all right. We're watching. We see you. So there's nothing wrong with dropping them there. We're glad that y'all are here and excited to get these in your area. And we're going to continue to spread out as much as we can in a deliberate and strategic way so that you can have a taste of this too and participate in it. And so while you're there, that ambassador is going to help with a couple of things. Number one, they're certainly there to kind of help answer questions and point you to the right resources that are going to help you as you're studying the JGOOT way of travel. Again, it's a skill. And so we're going to try to point you in the direction of what is going to be most valuable to you. The other thing that they're going to do is to help you connect with other I keep saying lounge members because these meetups have always been a lounge benefit for so long. So we're excited to get to expand them to everybody, but to help you connect with other JGOOTers, other folks who are practicing this and studying this, and ultimately be able to connect and share stories and pick up tips. In the what's it been, 3 years or so, Shannon, that I've been around here, I have made lifelong friends. Actually, Shannon being one of them. I'll call you out, Shannon. Shannon is a friend not only to me, but to my whole family. Before we went live here, obviously my family's here with me at the hotel. And so they popped on to say hi to Shannon. She knows my kids. She's held my younger kids. Isaiah probably wouldn't let you get away with that. My 9-year-old. But those kind of friendships. And that's not just because we work together. I was talking with one of our ambassadors the other day about these events, but it expanded into just friendship travel. She was asking about my kids and because she's met them and one of my kids is in martial arts and belt testing that he had and all that kind of thing. And so literally around the country, I've got friends and connections because of JGOOT. And so we want to be able to expand that to you as well, where you've got connections specifically with other JGOOT style travelers. So very, very valuable. So what's included? How do these actually work? What is going to be a part of this? And what do they cost in order to participate? There is actually a fee in order to participate in these. I saw that in the chat. I knew we were going to be coming to it. So now's a good time to address that. There is an RSVP fee in order to attend and participate in these meetups, which you can see on the screen there. It's $25 in advance when you sign up or $30 at the door. Now, the idea behind this, the fee is designed to cover rentals. We're using space for all of these meetups. And so there are lots of different costs and different things that go along with that. And so that covers whatever space we use in each area. Also covers some light appetizers. We're going to have some level of, kind of conversational snack foods and appetizers at each one of these events. Idea being, frankly, if you're like me, I'm what is it called? Like an extroverted introvert. I can turn it on when I need to and be extroverted and friendly and conversational. However, I've found that having food, having snacks, it kind of helps conversation to happen better. And so having that there will be great. You can take advantage of that. And that also helps us to know who is coming, how many people we've got coming, because that matters very, very much. So that's kind of how that looks. Now you'll do that. I see this question coming up already. You'll do that when you sign up at meetup.com. That's part of the actual registration process. So we'll talk through that when we get there. But that's an idea of what this is going to look like. And that allows us to actually pull these off in order to have the resources that we need to actually go into your community. And then as far as what you'll experience, the idea is these are designed to be interactive discussions, conversations with experienced travelers. Again, other people who are practicing and implementing the JGOOT way of travel. We're kind of trying to provide and create a platform where you're able to interact on a different level. The JGOOT Village, I think we're coming up on 60,000 people again, or something like that. It's a huge group. There's a email list of 200,000 of you out there, and that's great, and we love that. But you can't have an interactive discussion in a Facebook group of 60,000 people. It doesn't work. Things go off the rails, and you can't connect on a more personal level. What we want and what these are designed to be is that more personal connection where you can actually engage with others who are in your area who are doing the same kind of thing. Obviously, the idea is as well, we're going to bring tips and strategies that will help you level up your travel game. That's the whole idea behind what we do here and behind everything that we put out, whether it's the book that hopefully you are familiar with. If you're not, jgoot.com/book. You definitely want that because that's what these conversations are going to be about. jgoot.com/book. That is the book that everything we teach and everything we practice comes from. Now that book is static. It was written, it's been updated as needed with new information, but there are things that come and go that are timing based, that are location based, that don't fit neatly into a book. And so that's where, again, getting to connect with other loungers in your area, I'm still doing it, with other JGooters in your area really helps you to be able to learn and implement strategies that are more specific to you and to your location. And then lastly, a place where you can connect and share stories. We all have great travel stories that are not only beneficial from a logistic standpoint and a strategy standpoint, but are just interesting and engaging. You will come across people who have had some amazing experiences. We've done presentations on them here in our live streams where people have gone on African safaris and the suites on a plane and all of these different things around the world, and getting to listen to and learn from them is super valuable. Shannon, I had asked you earlier if you had a favorite story from one of these meetups. Do you have one that we could kind of pick up on here?
No, they are all so much fun. And it's really making the connections and putting names to faces, but they're also different, like Park City was very different than New Orleans, which was very different than DC, which was very different than Seattle. I loved DC, quite honestly. And it was one of our bigger ones. They tried to tell us no, and you know how well that goes over with us. Like, what do you mean we can't take over your lobby bar? Watch me, type of a thing. So they're all different, and there's a great story from each one. New Orleans and Bourbon Street, Washington, D.C. and Cherry Blossoms and all the Spy Museum that everybody went to, Seattle and Pike Market, and being able to find a large group space for our meal there. Like, there's just so many experiences, right? What I'd love to add to what you will experience is, again, just to make sure you guys heard Anthony say, there will be no PowerPoint presentations. There will be no slideshows and things like that, right? It's just getting together, think of it more like a cocktail hour, happy hour, a meet and greet intro like you would,
Yep.
see anywhere else. It's a very much social event with a lot of travel obsessed nerds. Should be me.
Yep. Yep. I love this. I always tell people, I will refer to it intentionally now, the lounge meetups that I keep accidentally saying. When I part of my role here at JGOOT is I welcome our brand new lounge members, our coaching program, and explain the what these meetups, the lounge meetups look like and how they work and everything like that. But I always tell people the reason those came about is because we tend to like each other around here. It's a lot of fun getting to meet people whose names you see all the time and getting to connect with them on a more personal level. So Shannon, everybody loves PowerPoint. I don't know what your deal against PowerPoint is, but
I have nothing against it. I'm just saying it's not happening.
I love it. So the role of these local ambassadors, we mentioned each one of these meetups has a local ambassador who's going to be running it. So we're going to talk through what that looks like. These are, first of all, as you can imagine, passionate JGOOT members. These are folks who have studied and implemented the JGOOT way of travel. These are folks who are, frankly, already doing this. A lot of these local ambassadors are already teaching their friends these strategies and answering questions for them and trying to point them to the JGOOT way of travel because we know how well it works. So these are some of our most passionate, deeply invested, not just lounge-wise or anything like that, but on a personal level. They care about this just as much as our staff members do in a lot of ways. They're also hosts and facilitators of meetups. They kind of understand what a meetup should look like, where it's not this chaotic, haphazard, show up and see what happens, but there's a balance between, we want enough structure that, again, you can connect and engage and you're not overwhelmed or lost in a crowd. But these aren't meant to be minute by minute timed events where it's exhausting and you always have to kind of move to the next thing. So these are folks who are skilled in that type of area, in being able to help these to run efficiently and smoothly, but also just casually and friendly as well. And they're also, frankly, some of our most experienced travelers. Some of the things that I mentioned before, things like suites on a plane and African safaris and different things like that. These are folks who are putting those things into practice. And so they're ready to be able to share tips, to answer questions, to help however they can to connect you with other JGOOTers who are doing the same kind of stuff and point you to the resources that are going to help you the most as you continue to practice and study this skill set. And so kind of what we've been talking about, and again, we've seen lots of different locations and that kind of thing in the comments here. Those are great. I don't want to discourage you from that. We love seeing that, and that's going to help us as we continue to roll these out. But I want to introduce to you the first 7 that are rolling out. Whether you saw this in the email already that we sent out, or if you didn't, this is going to be what our schedule looks like as we roll out the first few here. As you can see here, I've seen Houston pop up in the chat quite a bit. I think that's one of our largest groups so far, and so we're really excited about that. So if you're in the Houston, Texas area, or if you're in Texas at all, or if there's a cheap flight to Houston, that's a great one to go join. Washington, D.C. is coming up as well. That's one of the areas that we're rolling out in. Anna Yeager is leading that, as Shannon pointed out earlier. Philadelphia, so if you're up in the Northeast, we've got one rolling out there in a pretty large area. Melanie is going to be helping us to roll that out. I love it. Heading to Houston. Maureen, where are you coming from to get to Houston? I'm curious if you're making a trek or if you're nearby there. So that's perfect. So Philadelphia, Indianapolis is coming up. That's actually, I think, the first one that is going to be launching. They're all launching in February, later this month. But the first one that's coming up is going to be in Indy. Eric is helping us to run that out there. St. Louis is coming up. Oh, Maureen. Maureen's the one driving 3.5 hours. We highlighted you at the very beginning of this. Maureen, thanks for joining us. I'm really excited about that. That's fantastic. Very good. So St. Louis is going to be coming later this month. Jessica is going to be hosting that for us. Denver is coming up later on this month. That's kind of the home base for JGOOT. If you're unfamiliar with that, that's actually where Joel and JGOOT are based out of. So even though our team and our membership are stretched out all around the country, Denver is home base. So we're very excited for that one. And then Seattle as well is going to be rolling out later this month. And that's the one, Shannon, you said you're going to be able to go out and join. Is that right?
Yep. And in typical JGOOT fashion, I found a great deal for the flight home and booked it. And so I still need to book the flight there, but it's okay.
Naturally. So, and if you just clenched, as Shannon said that, I booked a flight home, but I still don't have the flight out there. It happens. And as you develop this skill, you get more comfortable doing things like that because you start to know what I'm going to be able to find, when I can expect to find it. You've got a strategy and you've got a backup plan to the strategy, I'd imagine. Am I right about that, Shannon?
Backup to the backup. Points.
Exactly
Rule
right.
two. Rule 2.
I love it. And you'll see all the dates. I'm going to show you. People are asking about the dates here. You'll see all of those at the Meetups page. You'll see all the information there. And so I'll show you how to get there in just a minute. And by the way, because I saw this in the chat as well, this map is not true to scale. It's not a US map that you're looking at there. So if you're looking at Seattle on the east side and DC on the left side, on the west side there, it's not meant to be an actual map. So you'll be okay. Yeah. So couple of just stories of the impact of these meetups and frankly why we wanted to roll them out to you. We had talked about our DC meetup. This was a lounge meetup that happened. Was this last year?
Yeah, April.
Okay.
Cherry blossom season.
Year. That's right, cherry blossom season. And so Barb, she's one of our lounge members, joined us for that lounge exclusive meetup. Cherry blossoms were beautiful, wonderful history, great friends. Indie lounge members got the chance to get together at a mini meetup, a little closer to what this style is going to be. It's a joy to spend time with each other.
But can I just point something out in that picture?
Yeah, please. Yep.
Melanie's not from Indy. Lise Ferguson's not from Indy. Jessica and Kate. Most of those loungers are not from Indy. Realize
that's
that?
A really good point.
Yeah, they just flew in for the fun because they could.
You're exactly right. Yeah, good point. And then Darlene, same thing. I have gained travel friends for life here. To me, that is priceless. And this, again, was another DC meetup. I recognize a couple of faces in that photo right off the bat, right up front.
No, a couple of strangers in the front. They probably just photobombed.
That's probably exactly what happened there. And then our own Stephanie, one of our coaches here. Definitely the best and most underrated perk of this community are the lifelong friendships. And really, this is where those are most often formed. I love the Facebook community and live streams and Zooms and all that kind of fun stuff. But getting to get together face to face, hang out and have a drink, have a meal with someone, there's nothing else like it for connections. And that is really the extent and the goal of what these are designed to be. We want you to be able to connect with other JGooters, even with lounge members, the same way that we've gotten to, because it's been such a joy and such a blast to be able to do. That's a great point. Flying in for the meetup, it's good practice. That's really well said. So when you're trying to make your way to one of these upcoming local meetups, it's good practice on a domestic level before you start trying to tackle bigger trips. So I love that. And then just a few more pictures from some of our bigger meetups. Shannon, there's the Seattle one there. That was that big group meal that you were talking about before. Is that right?
Nice. It was right on the water. It's just such a perfect JGOOT location. It was right on the water, and you could see the cruise ships coming in and out. Remember, like they were these big boats. It was a wonderful location and a really good time. The food was really good.
Yeah.
Palisades, if I remember correctly. Free shout out to Palisades.
There you go. I love it. So just a few pictures. So how do you get involved? So you're looking at this and, yep, this is exactly what I've been wanting. And we hope it is, because it's just so valuable and so fun to get together with other JGOOTers. So how do you actually join? This is the site that you're going to go to, jgoot.com/local meetups. And I'm even going to drop that in the chat here, jgoot.com/local meetups. So you can look for that in your chat there. We'll throw it up. That's where you're going to find information on every single one of these. Every one of these local meetups will be listed there.
And we'll continue to be listed there, guys, as we roll out more locations and the future dates and things like that. That's going to be your North Star for the local meetups, if you will.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, bookmark that page. We're not going to do a live demo of bookmarking on today's live stream, but bookmark that page, save it. If you're not sure how, ask your 9-year-old. That's what I do. He's my go-to for tech at this point. But hold on to that. And that is going to be a constantly updated list of all the cities that we have meetups in. As we roll out more, we'll announce them. We'll broadcast them to the community via Facebook and the Village group, via email, as you can imagine, and even via live stream every now and then. We'll bring you updates on these. I'm really looking forward to having pictures of some of these meetups, just like we have for our lounge meetups, and getting to share some of those with you as things roll out. There will be more cities coming soon. I'm not going to give you a timetable today because whatever I say is probably going to be wrong. And then you're going to be mad at me. And I make people mad enough as it is. So if I can avoid one cause for that, I'm going to. But I can tell you this. We're going to get through these first 7 meetups that are rolling out this month. We're going to take kind of how they went, what worked, what we need to work on. And then we'll bring out the next round of these local meetups. As the ones that already launched begin to run their second one, we'll roll out brand new ones in brand new areas. And so keep watch at that page. There will be more cities coming soon. Now, when you click that button, when you go to jgoot.com/local meetups and you click, let's say Indianapolis, because that's the first one that's coming up. I happen to know that off the top of my head. When you click that, it is going to take you to the local group on meetup.com. That is where we are hosting these meetups. We're utilizing that platform since it already exists. It already runs really well, and it reaches folks who are even outside of the JGOOT village. So we have a chance to help other folks that way as well. So we're utilizing that platform. When you click the button, it's going to take you to your local group on meetup.com. It'll transfer you over to that platform. There, you are going to create a free account. I want to stress this. Turn on your listening ears here. If you were doing something else, pause and pay attention, because this is one of the most frequently asked questions so far about these local meetups. You can create a free account at meetup.com, and that is all you need. Meetup.com does have a paid membership as well. You do not need that in order to participate in our meetups. If you look at that and you decide, oh, yeah, there's something here for me, then by all means, I don't want to squash meetup.com since we're using their platform. But I do want to make it clear, you do not need their paid membership in order to join meetup.com or in order to join our meetups. When you register, when you set up your account with meetup.com, there is a button when they pitch you the paid membership. There's a button you can click that says, no thanks, I'll just stick with the free plan, or something along those lines. If you don't see it, I promise it's there. Go back and look again, because that's what I did. And that's what most everyone has done. I've heard from a couple of you that you couldn't figure out how to get past it. I promise there's a button there. So look for that. And just know 100% that You do not need a paid account in order to use meetup.com. And then join the group. Now, when you join the group, there's two kind of aspects about this. And again, I'll use Indy as an example. You are going to join the group itself, the Indy group. And then within that group, there are going to be events. That's where we'll announce each event as they're rolled out. So you'll get notified. And then you can choose to sign up to RSVP to that specific event. So hopefully that's fairly clear. Let you know kind of what the process is going to be. Once we hit that RSVP button, you can also, if you're bringing a guest, if you're bringing multiple guests, these are open to everybody. So you can register for as many folks as you're going to be bringing, sign up, and then just show up. So that's kind of the walkthrough. That's a little bit about both the logistics of what these are going to look like, the why behind it, and a little bit of where we're going to be headed as it continues to grow. So if you have questions about these, feel free. I've tried to grab a few as we've been going here. Shannon has also been kind of highlighting a couple for me here that we can kind of talk about and make sure that you guys understand what's going to be coming up here. But feel free, if you've got more questions specifically about these local meetups, you can drop them in the chat here, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. This isn't so much a question, but I loved it. Driving 2 hours in less than 2 weeks to get to that Alexandria, the DC meetup that's going to be coming up. Thank you, Adriana.
You will love Anna. You will love Anna. She's fantastic. She's welcoming, so knowledgeable. I'm super jealous. I mean, I could go out there, but there's probably snow and it's way too cold for me. But yeah,
come summertime, there's a higher chance of
100%.
of Shannon bouncing around to these. So I had booked all of my travel for the next, we're gone, I told you, Shannon, like every week for the next 2 months. And I booked all of this before we rolled out these local meetups. And so I'm off in a whole bunch of different directions, but I'm trying to see if I can make any of these myself, because I think they're going to be a lot of fun. Exactly right. So how often do we add new locations? There isn't a specific schedule for this, Melanie. The current, let's say, timetable, the current plan is we're going to get through these meetups that are scheduled for February. All of the ones that are launching, the first 7 that are launching that we looked at earlier, those specific locations, we're going to get through those. And look at, like I mentioned earlier, what went well, what do we need to work on, how do we want to continue to grow and improve these as we roll them out. And then probably, I'm about to say it, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, probably next quarter, as we roll out new ones, that's when you'll start to see new locations.
This is going in the vault, Anthony. Joel's going to see that you said that. So.
Exactly right. So, and great question. These are open to both loungers and villagers. This is wide open to everybody, and that is intentionally so. These are open because, frankly, we want to get the chance to meet you and hang out with you. We want to get to know more folks in every community that we're kind of plugged in and serving and joining. And so, absolutely, these are wide open. If you have friends who you've tried to talk to about the JGOOT way of travel and they're not getting it, this is a great place to bring people to. So even if they're not even a villager, they haven't read the book or anything like that, bring them out, because these are meant to be social. These are meant to be kind of connecting points as well. So definitely these are wide open to anyone. And just to answer Kathy's question, these are not a replacement to our lounge meetups. So the lounge meetups are still going to happen, and we still love to share those with you because they're a lot of fun. We like to share pictures and updates and that kind of thing here as well. But these are not a replacement for that. These are, frankly, an extension. These are a chance to go even farther and meet people even outside of our lounge coaching program as well. We covered this, but I want to stress it one more time because it's one of the things that has popped up the most. Does Meetup charge a monthly fee to join? They do not. They have an option for that. You do not need it in order to participate in our meetups. So don't worry about that. You can decline it.
I just want to say too, if we've got any
Yeah, go ahead.
loungers here, I don't want this to be misunderstood or miscommunicated. Anthony and I are still running lounge quarterly meetups, but they are for loungers only. This is for loungers and villagers. So in case any loungers are on here having a heart attack, because I know quarterly meetups are very, very looked forward to, we're not replacing them. No worries.
Yep, exactly. By any chance, are members listed by state so we can connect locally? So that's exactly what these are for. We don't broadcast people's info here, so we're not going to distribute a list of, who's in what state and that kind of thing. But these are your chance to connect locally. So if you're in one of the areas that we cover, if you're not, look for one nearby, especially as we continue to grow. But these are designed for exactly that purpose. And we broadcast the info to everybody because, again, you're going to see people. We've already seen it. People driving in or flying for some of these different meetups. But this is exactly your opportunity to connect with people locally. The RSVP is indeed per person. We hit that earlier. It is $25 when you pre-register through meetup.com. And it is $30 at the door. We would really rather you pre-register so we can plan accordingly because, again, we want this to be a quality meetup. We want this to be enjoyable. We want to plan it properly and prepare for you properly. And so that's the ideal there, and that covers Nancy's question as well. There is a small registration fee for these meetups. And then a couple of you out there, I just decided I'm going to go to the USA soccer game late in Houston because I don't want to miss this. Melanie, that's awesome. That's fantastic. We're looking forward to seeing you in Houston. You will love the Houston meetup. Whitney, I don't think I mentioned Whitney earlier as I was running through everybody because I don't remember saying her name. But Whitney is our host for Houston. She is phenomenal. You are absolutely going to love her and that group. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for joining us out there.
Yeah, tell me you're a JGOOTer without telling me you're a JGOOTer, like right there.
Exactly. And Brianna, I'm sorry we'll miss you in Philadelphia because Brianna's going to be traveling at that time, traveling abroad on a trip I booked thanks to JGOOT. So
and don't worry, these are going to be quarterly. The plan is to, keep them going and not just like hit and run. And Brianna, don't feel bad. Like our local loungers say the same thing. I can't believe you're doing a quarterly meetup when I am in fill in the blank. It happens to all of us, of us.
And hey, while I want to say two things here. One, I know we're coming up on the end of our time. So if you do have any local meetup questions, this will be kind of last call for them. Go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll try to help with them if there are any outstanding. But Shannon, I know we mentioned the lounge several times on this call. And I know that's not really the topic, but it's been mentioned so many times. I want to make sure people understand. Can you tell us a little bit about what the lounge is since we've talked about it?
Absolutely. I would love to. I get a lot of calls. People confuse the vault and the lounge. Vault, cruises, family, all those are monthly mini memberships. The lounge is our high-end paid coaching program. Those are for the individuals that feel like they may have reached the limits of their success, or they would like to speed up their mastery of the JGOOT way of travel. It is a 6-month program. If you've ever wondered are you ready for the next level? Is this for you? I still have questions. I'm a little confused. Please, please, please use this link Anthony's going to throw on the screen for me. jgoot.com/call. One of my team members, any of my team members will be happy to help you, talk you through that, explore it with you, and give you an honest evaluation. I mean, it is not for everybody necessarily, but the ones that it is for, where this is super important, and it's super important that they accelerate their results, it's worthy of the 15 minutes. I'm glad I did it, obviously.
I love it. So I just wanted to touch on that since we've mentioned it several times, because that's where these came from. our JGOOT Lounge members do this once a quarter. These are big events. We spend an entire weekend together at these lounge meetups. And so we're excited to get to roll them out to you. But since we've mentioned it several times, I wanted to do that. And AJ might be one of the people that you speak with. You see AJ pretty active in our comments on our live streams. He is one of our JGOOT advisors. So if you go to jgoot.com/call, he might be one of the folks that you speak with when you get there. So
I'd also like to say this didn't just come from the idea of loungers. Honestly, yes, of course, they love it. But I moderate in the village. I'm one of them. And I see this ask often, hey, is there any way to meet local JGooters in this area, my area, that area, all the things. And so we just kept seeing it, right? We kept seeing it. We keep watching our quarterly meetups expand. Like I said, the lounge quarterly meetups, Anthony and I run them. We have 102 members flying in from all parts of the country, not including, and then we have staff, of course, flying in for this. So we see it, but it, took us a little bit to be able to get some infrastructure, pages, a plan, because again, although we can certainly fly literally, by the seat of our pants if we need to, it's not what we would want for one of these meetups. And so we're going to go low and slow. All those areas, well, not all, a majority of the areas I've seen in the comments are 100% in consideration, 100% in consideration, but we want to do it right. So bear with us. Yep. We're going to get some feedback from this first round and then see how we can do a good job systematizing and having that same strategic scientific approach as we do in the lounge education, right? So that we can repeat successful results.
That's exactly right. Well said. Well said. I don't see any other questions, but I do love the shirts. Thanks for pointing that out, Susan. A couple of our lounge members had shirts made. Queen Mira said to do it. So I love it. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today, everybody. Visit jgoot.com/local meetups. That's where you'll find all of the locations and the dates and the links and the RSVPs and everything that you need to know. So we look forward to seeing you at one of these upcoming meetups, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week. Go ahead, Shannon.
We have one late one saying that they came late to the meeting. Please repost link. We actually haven't seen that yet today. So Anthony, do you want to tell them how to watch the replay and when it'll be taken down?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So the replay will be available at this same link. You can go to jgoot.com/livestreams, which is how you got here. That is going to be available through midnight tonight, Eastern time. And then after that, all of our replays, this one and every other one that we've done, can be found in the JGOOT vault. You can find that at jgoot.com/vault. So other than that, thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll look forward to seeing y'all back here next week. Same bat time, same bat station. Y'all take care. Happy travels.
Happy travels. Thank you.